Thank you so much, Himanshu. That was really, really a great way to sum up the panelists session over here. And truly, I have to say, hats off to uh, Dr. Mishra, Khushbu, and the entire organizing committee for pulling in a diverse panel. And I feel that each of us have been able to cover different aspects. Rajeev truly talked about the practitioner's viewpoint. Anurag really gave us a brilliant crasher on Industry 4.0. And Himanshu has been able to cover so many different aspects. For example, when he talked about global risks, I realized that yes, that was one aspect that I had not touched upon at all. And so many different points that Himanshu made, absolutely brilliant. Himanshu, I'd also like to say that when you talked about the change and you talked about Netflix and you said you can recall the era of DVDs and VCDs, I just want to add, I can even recall the era of video cassettes, VCRs. Uh, so I'm giving away my age when I bring that up.
I understood, sir, because I was taking up Netflix. That era was not there actually.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you so much, Himanshu. And Khushbu and Professor Rini, I'm well aware that we have overshot on time. May I just quickly invite the panel for a quick summary of comments or questions? I know that there are a couple of questions that we already have from the audience. But before jumping into that, I want to ask from Rajeev, Anurag, Himanshu, if any final comments that they would like to make.
So again, thank you, Shishir, and I completely agree with you that it's been a pretty diverse panel and a very, very, I think, good spectrum of thought process. And also for everyone, I think it's another piece that Himanshu just mentioned. Great to see the commitment. Shishir has been up at 5 o'clock in the morning in a cold London morning. So I think really appreciate that Shishir's commitment to really moderate this panel, especially in the cold weather in London right now. Uh, I would just like to kind of leave everybody with one thought process. I think you've heard very different perspectives. Shishir shared the entire ecosystem. You heard Anurag giving a brilliant insight into how manufacturing is progressing. Himanshu gave a pretty strategic view of how businesses have those risks and how technology has to be used. I shared a few practical examples. I'm hoping that it kind of leads you into that thought process that this has to be the way of life in whichever area of work that you're doing. And I think the sooner we adapt to it, the sooner we embrace it, the better it is for whichever customer set you are serving, and also your own value proposition or business idea that you're working on.
Thanks,
nice.
Rajeev.
If I can just, I think the whole digital ecosystem has to contribute to, job creation as well. It should not lead to, reduction in jobs. And the next, of course, session is about reskilling. I think that and the human touch that has to be there while delivering these, goods and services, products. That is also one of the more important aspects. Customer empowerment is what Rajeev did mention. I think it's very, very important to, of course, also, I think customer centric is also what even Shishir mentioned. It's so important to have everything being done on this, keeping them in mind. What Himanshu shared was a very, very nice perspective, and the way he's highlighted the issues is brilliant. I think I have been a bit confined to how the industry, as we are, part of the industry in a medium scale, that is the perspective that I have got, and not touching too much about the general developments. So that is also important, that the ecosystem should be also something that can be small to medium scale enterprises should be able to adopt. It should not be about Netflix and the big auto companies or the big Amazons only, where technology is. So it has to be in a manner that it is in the reach of small to medium enterprise as well. That is a challenge alongside so many other challenges that we do have while seeing this digital ecosystem evolve. Thank you very much, Shishir, and the other panel members. It has been a privilege to be on this panel with such distinguished set of speakers, and also would like to thank the management of Jaipuria School of Business for giving me this opportunity to be sharing my viewpoints. Thank you very much. Has been very nice.
Thank you, Anurag. Himanshu, can I just ask if you have any final thoughts? I know you already got to share your summary of the sessions, but if you would like to add any final comment.
No, I just want to add, Shishir, I just forgot that you got up and Rajeev very rightly pointed out at 5 in the morning, and your commitment is much higher than what commitment is at. What Anurag laid down was absolutely correct. I mean, in this digital transformation, what is actually being left out is actual, you can say, our generation or the manpower, which the biggest threat to this is actually our survival also. So definitely, because with robotics coming into place, a lot of people will be unemployed. What are the new areas? What are the new sciences which are coming up? Is really for all of these students actually who would be facing these things in the times to come, to really ponder and to get upon right now that what is going to happen in future. So Anurag, you mentioned it's not a point of manufacturing, you sharing only a manufacturing perspective. I think that is how we decided the entire panel discussion to go. And that was very nice of Shishir actually to do a round of call yesterday evening. And actually, so every one of us knew what exactly we are speaking. So there's nothing there. All of us just did our bits, which was decided amongst the core. And then I would like to say the only one thing I would like to leave all students and people here is that with the pandemic, we've also learned that we were all running against time. You see, we were all running against time. It's also time that we need to give back to the environment and leave the environment a much better place than what we found it to be. So if the entire business systems, the entire business psychology will now transform around that. And that is the new concept of the ESG things coming into place. So as long as we can redefine our businesses, keeping that in mind, that will help our future generations. That will help everybody who will be there on this earth to survive. Thank you very much again. Thank you, the management, again, for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, Shishir.
Thanks, Himanshu. And as I said to Rajeev and Himanshu yesterday when we spoke, yeah, it has been getting up early and it's very cold outside. Someone reminded me it's minus 11 degrees feels like temperature today over here. But for me, it was genuinely a pleasure to be able to make it and to participate in this session. And I would just like to share a small slogan with everyone, everyone associated with the Jaipuria institution's name. So this was a slogan coined back when I was in school at Jaipuria School, Kanpur. My year group had actually coined this, saying that wherever we go, people want to know who we are, and we tell them we are the Jaipurians, mighty Jaipurians. Some of you might have heard this over the years. Just a reminder to all that the Jaipuria brand name is truly unique. And again, all around the world, I meet people, I fine people that are connected with Jaipuria, and it's great to be able to connect it now more than ever, as Dr. Mishra said, using virtual technologies. So thank you, everyone. Very quickly, there are a couple of questions that were raised in the Q&A dashboard. Question from Akash Wadhwani saying, what if artificial intelligence was dealing with new customers in the digital era like this? My own short and sweet response to that is that it's not a what if, it is already happening. So artificial intelligence is already there behind the scenes, servicing customers' needs. You may not realize it, and that's the beauty of it. That's the way it is supposed to be.
And Shishir, if I can just chime in on that, if anyone is using HDFC Bank in India, and whenever you are having a customer query, when you're calling them or you're on chat, it is not a human being in the background. Similarly, a lot of companies around mental health these days, there's a company called Vysa, WYSA, which is also used in Singapore by the government of Singapore. It is all AI-driven advice that's coming. So I agree with Shishir. It's not a what if, it is already happening as we speak in different areas of our lives.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajeev. So Akash, trust that addresses your query. There is another comment or question from Vijaya Kern saying, how to reimagine our company in the post-pandemic world? I would again just like to say that that question, while it is relevant, timely in the post-pandemic world, but I believe all of the discussion that we've had so far is equally applicable. So while the focus of the discussion was about emerging digital ecosystem, the pandemic situation around the world has merely accelerated those trends, not changed anything fundamentally. We've seen much quicker adoption of things that of trends that would have in normal course of time played out over 5 years or even longer. We've seen adoption in a short span of less than a year. But my belief is that there is nothing very specifically different with regard to the pandemic, but all of the aspects that were covered previously in the discussion are all applicable. Any of the other panelists would like to chime in, please? I guess there are no other additional comments. I would like to then conclude the panel session. Thank you so much, Rajeev. It's been a pleasure to reconnect with you. As I recall that while we had overlapped in school, we've not been in touch for some time, but when we connected, I was able to recall that we had last met in 1998 in person. And so very nice to see you again over here. Anurag and Himanshu, thank you so much for taking out the time and contributing to these to our preparatory sessions in advance and to the brilliant contribution you've made today. Thank you so much. And Dr. Mishra, Professor Rini, Khushbu, it's really been a pleasure to be a part of this, and we wish all the very best to you for the rest of the day. And I'm certainly going to stay tuned in. Now that I'm already awake, I would like to make the most of this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't know if anyone noticed my home office background, but I just picked it up. This is my humble souvenir that still adorns my office over here. So great to be part of this session. And once again, thanks to the Jaipuria family.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shishir.
Thank you.